Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. We are continuing our series on the Abundant Beauty stencils or the decorative masks. I am going to do the traditional sunflower that this was designed for. I'm going to use two of the stencils on this one. I'm going to use the all over background one, and I'm going to do tone on tone on a copper clay. I wanted to say pebbled path. It's copper clay card base, and then using crushed curry and garden green, and again the copper clay on the sunflower itself, and then just fussy cutting out the sunflower so I can dimensionalize it up. I'm using the Wishing You Everything Wonderful greeting from the Charming Sentiments set, which has the matching dies that go with the greetings. So this is the die that goes with the Wishing You Everything Wonderful greeting. So this card's going to take a bit, probably won't be my under 10-minute video that I like to do. So if you want to pause and grab yourself a beverage, carry on. So this one, when I put it down, it's a little bit, it's not quite as wide as the card base, and I didn't want there to be kind of edges. So I put it on this way, and then I took my copper clay and my blending brush and just went all over. I'm holding this as opposed to taping it down. It's probably better to tape it down so your hand doesn't slip. But I wanted to move through this fairly quickly in the video so that you're not stuck watching me do this for the entire video. So I'm just going over, making sure I've got good coverage. And then I'm going to come in here and in here and here. And then I'm just going to, see, I wiggled the stencil, put it back and come in here. Now, keep your fingers off the stencil because it's going to be wet. What I am going to do is I'm going to put this back down like this, but I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper over the top of it, just at the top edge like this. Because what happens is you move your stencil, or you're stenciling away, and your brush goes off the edge. And when it goes off the edge, you get a line on your card. So I'm going to leave that just under the edge like that, hold it down, and then just come in and stencil the bottom portion of the card front. So it doesn't matter how careful you think you're being, you're going to end up with a shadow. So best bet is to just tuck that piece of paper under the edge, and then you're good. Okay. So that, and I'm actually just a little bit light right here, so I'm going to add some ink there. Okay, so I'm going to put that off to the side, and that's the card front. So I can put that over there for now. I'm going to close this up, and then we're going to do the sunflower. So let me just grab a piece here. Pop that off to the side, get my sunflower stencil, which is right here, and I'm just going to put this down. I've got my crushed curry, and when you're stenciling, you control how much ink is going down. So if I just want it to be lighter on the outside, I can just come around and go lighter on the outside. And this one, it doesn't matter if you go over into the other stencil spaces. I haven't masked them off because I'm fussy cutting this one out. So then I want the center to be just that little bit darker. So I'm just going to, it's actually a little bit too light on the edges, so I'm just going to add some color. And then I'm going to come in darker in the center like this. Okay, so that is the crushed curry. Just put that off to the side. And all of your stencils are going to be wet with ink. So you're going to want to kind of lay them out so that you don't end up transferring ink from one to the other. I'm going to do my center now. And again, I want this to be a little bit lighter because I want to come in with the second stencil and add the detail. So I'm just coming around to make sure that I've got good coverage in the middle, and I do. Lay that over there. And then I'm coming in with this piece, and I need to kind of center it a little bit, like that. There we go. I want to cover up what I've already done in the copper clay, and then I'm coming in and I'm adding ink, quite a lot of ink in there. What that does is it makes the center darker. So I'm going to put all of these brushes off to the side, close my ink pad. I've already done the leaves. I did the leaves in Garden Green, and I've already done them and cut them out. And I've already stamped and cut the greeting. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to fussy cut this. You can see I've got a little bit of a shadow from the other flowers. Super easy to do. Get yourself a really sharp pair of scissors. And when you're fussy cutting like this, a smaller pair of scissors is helpful. And you move the paper around. Don't try and move the scissors. Move your paper. So like I say, if you want to fast forward through this bit, you can, because I'm literally just cutting paper. So I'll just keep coming in and going around those edges. This is super simple to fussy cut. You don't need a die or anything or a punch to punch this out. If you've got excess paper, you can just snip it off like that, and then just keep coming in, turning around. I'm leaving just a little tiny bit of an edge of white around. Sometimes I'm getting pretty close to the yellow. Sometimes I'm a little bit further away. I'm not, as long as it's fairly even, I'm not overly concerned. Part of the reason I'm leaving that shadow of white around is because I want it to stand away from the darker background of the card front. And we're going to dimensionalize it to help with that as well. So we're going to come in like this and just keep fussy cutting. So again, this week, as I said before, lots of new viewers, lots of new people commenting. Thank you so much. Again, overwhelming support to continue doing series. People like to see different examples of how to use the same stamp set all at once, as opposed to over time, like switching out a different stamp set each week. And of course, this week, it's not a stamp set, it's the decorative masks. But I love these decorative masks, all the different layers you can put on it. They're fabulous. So they're worth a week dedicated to them. Okay, so there is our sunflower. So I'm just going to scoop all of those pieces off to the side. I'm going to bring my card base back in, use my dimensionals, and I'm just going to tuck a couple of dimensionals. I'm using the edge of my dimensionals because again, you always use up the whole thing. And then I'm putting this just a little bit off center, so kind of just a little bit up and a little bit over, but not really shunted to the side. Then I'm flat mounting my leaves, and these, to me, the leaves, I know that sunflower leaves are big, but these seemed like overly large if I put them like that, so I'm just tucking them in a little bit like that. Putting two together, you can cut out more if you want to. These are super simple to cut out as well, so I'm just going to tuck them in like that. Then I'm dimensionalizing the greeting as well, so just putting a couple of those edge pieces from the dimensional sheet on like this. And you can decide where you want to put this. It seemed a little crowded over here if I put it here, so to balance it out a little bit, I moved it over to the side a little bit like that. So there we have a card using two of the stencils, the background one, decorative masks. You can tell I stenciled in the 80s, but the decorative masks, the one set for the sunflowers, and then the one background one. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.